Hello and welcome back to Abs Talks Ball, and we've got another Abs here because we've got Abs Talking Ball times 2. This is
let's go.
Star player, of course.
Bro,
all of you guys know from SDS. Quickly talk to the people, introduce yourself to them, man.
Star player, been on SDS.
Yep.
Locked in. We did the club.
Yes.
I don't know what else I've been on. I've done Nike.
You've done a lot of stuff, brother.
I've been with Arsenal.
Is this the pinnacle? Is this the peak of
Yeah, no, it's the best thing. It's better than SDS. It's better than SDS.
It's better than SDS. ATV's better than SDS.
Yeah,
I appreciate it, man. We're trying. ATV's trying. But anyway, we are going to get stuck in because obviously I have my views on Arsenal. Some Arsenal fans think I'm a bit too biased. So I said, you know what? I'm going to get my mate who talks real about Arsenal. I think probably the realist.
I appreciate that because I genuinely do believe that as well.
I do believe that you are.
I can say what I like to that as well. As mad as it sounds.
But genuinely, he doesn't hold any punches with Arsenal based on that is his club. He's going to talk about the honest problems that we have at Arsenal. So we're going to get into that. Obviously, Arsenal are somewhat involved in a title race, and obviously the aspirations going into this season was, can Mikel do it? Can he kick on?
No, literally is.
It's somewhat almost near the halfway point. How do we take stock of this season so far and the problems that Arsenal are facing? Let's start with the attack.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
Start with the attack.
It's definitely regressed. There's only one bright spot, which is Bukayo Saka, as we all know. Literally, like it's only bar him. It's probably Salah that is putting up better numbers than him and more impactful. Yeah. Other than that, I think he's the man. He's him. The guy.
Yeah, he's him.
So regarding that, like I said, talking about with Arsenal's attacking problems, it's genuinely there's no one else really offering much regarding that. Yeah. And a lot of people try blame Arteta, which I think is rightfully so. Yeah. To be honest, not many people have said it, but it's definitely right. Yeah. Because the one thing we can say about Arsenal Football Club is a lot of their injuries tend to happen at their backline.
Yeah, it's not an injury issue.
Odegaard, obviously Odegaard is part of the attack, but he's more of a midfielder in my opinion.
Yeah, of course.
Our front three, none of them have been injured. Think about it. Havertz has been playing. Jesus has been there. Martinelli's been there.
So if we look at the fact that the personnel is the same, do we look at it maybe being a coaching issue at this point in time? Or is it fit? Like, for example, we knew that the dynamics on the right-hand side for Arsenal, you actually found something. It was the Timber, Odegaard and Saka thing. That was really working well. Yeah. Obviously, the constant thing has been since Xhaka left, can we emulate that on the left-hand side as well?
Facts.
Why has that been an issue? Is Mourinho supposed to be solving that issue? Let's talk about Martinelli. Talk to me.
Mourinho, a lot of people have said that he should be the Xhaka replacement. Yeah. He's a left-footed midfielder that's technical. Yeah. I don't put...
Is that poor analysis? Is that too easy?
Yeah, it is. I'll be real, I don't think he's much of the blame in this situation because, one, he came at the end of the window, was injured for a month off the jump. Yeah. Now, coming from, so he's had no pre-season with us. He don't know how we realistically play. Yeah. He's jumped in end of September. Yeah. And you know how it's been. He's been in and out of the lineups and all that stuff. And Arteta still hasn't figured out what his best midfield was because realistically, Odegaard was out by the time he came back because he was that international break.
Yeah, it's true.
So regarding that, I think I don't have much blame on him. Obviously, as well, looking behind him, he's had changes. It's Calafiori one time. It's Miles Lewis-Kelly now. It can be Zinchenko. It's Timber. They're coming from. So I don't really blame one. The one constant factor is Gabriel Martinelli. We've both spoke about it off camera a lot. I feel like Gabriel Martinelli's reached his ceiling. Last season, it was more of, obviously, we know how much he dipped. He dipped bad. Yeah. And I thought, you know what? You can give it. I said, you can have, that's mad as hell. You can have the season off because we had Trossard that came in and obviously Trossard was putting up numbers. I don't think Trossard's great, but he was a GA magnet.
He was, yeah.
Regarding that, I was like, okay, cool. Maybe it's competition that's took his confidence out of it. His form obviously was not been great. But Arteta's trusted him a lot more this season. He's brought in reinforcements on the left-hand side, thinking, you know what, that is the main reason we're going to fix that.
He's persisted with Project Martinelli.
Yeah,
How can I maximize Project Martinelli?
And I genuinely believe he has maximized him to the most that he can. And it's sad. It's just his ceiling. Yeah. He's not great. He can't dribble past players. Yeah. His crossing's not that great. The one thing we said, rely on him heavily, was his finishing because he bagged 15 goals. Can't even do that no more. And especially this week against Everton.
Oh my God,
brother, he was playing against Ashley Young. Didn't look to take him on once. No. Like when he tried, he just looked like he just didn't want to. It felt like everything is so scripted. You know what he's gonna do. And as a fullback, okay, cool, I know he's going to do. He's not going to really use his left. If he's going to use his left, the only time he's going to use his left is to cross the ball in.
Yeah.
And he's not attacking on an angle. He's going in a straight line. He's not facing him up, trying to get into the box.
Always dribbles side on to the defender.
Do you know where I'm coming from? So regarding that, he's definitely the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest issue regarding Arsenal.
I completely agree. And my outlook on it with Arsenal is obviously the aspirations is to win a league title.
It has to be.
Currently, obviously it's the same lineup that did so well last season. Obviously, there's other things that are involved in the context of things, but I think everyone's been saying it for a long time. I think we've said attacker. Everyone says Arsenal need a world-class attacker in.
Yeah.
I think specifically it has to be that left wing.
Yeah, same.
Because I think Arteta is so keen on Havertz and so keen on making that work so much, I genuinely believe that if that world-class player comes in on the left-hand side, it just allows the dynamics of the team to be harder to play against.
Yeah, facts.
That player, whoever they are, if they can take on a player or two by themselves,
create magic.
The opposition teams can't commit 3 people to Saka if there's also a player on the world-class on the other side.
And also thinking about that, the recipe, in my opinion, the recipe to win leagues or be competitive, like highly competitive, is you got to tick 2 out of the 3 boxes. You either have a winger and a right winger and a striker that are elite, and then the left winger can be average, adequate, average, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Or like you said, 2 wingers and your attacker can be all right.
Exactly.
And we've got that. We've got that in Havertz.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Confidence as well. He'll be bagging, but you can't always rely on him.
He's all right. They're coming from, and then you got Saka that's just elite. Yeah. But you can't have 2. You can't have 2 average and then 1 elite.
That. You
can't at all. And the way Arteta plays football, it don't work. Yeah. So big factor is definitely Arteta, because he's done a lot of reinforcements in the backline, in midfield. He's not really focused on the attack. And when he has focused on the attack, it's always been his plan Bs.
Yeah.
Kai Havertz might be his only plan A signing that he really wanted to lead the line. Obviously, Jesus, he's done.
Yeah.
Once that injury in the World Cup 2022, done his knee, he's not been the same player. He can't score. Yeah. Doesn't really offer much.
You linked it on really as a nice transition on towards the signings part of this as well, because we do need to look at the signing, because a lot of Arsenal fans who may be frustrated with Arteta, they speak about the winter transfer window being somewhere they look to.
Yeah,
let's see what he does.
I tweeted that.
Yeah. You also one of them. Where it's like, let me see what he does in this winter window. Part of that obviously has got to do with Edu was a part to play in the previous window.
Yeah.
And a lot of people looked at the Sterling signing and basically attributed that all to Edu. I know obviously Arteta's got a green light on these things, but attributed that to him. So in terms of the signings that Arteta's brought in, we look really highly at the Gabriels, the Timbers, the Calafioris. Yeah. These guys that have been brought in that are so good, right? Yeah. And have done so well for Arteta and for Arsenal over the last couple of seasons. Do we trust Mikel, or do you as an Arsenal fan trust Mikel in this next window up and coming without Edu being there? Now it's all on him to find the right level of signings to reinforce that attack, which is a problem area that we've identified.
I do trust him. As much stick as I give him, I do trust him in that aspect, because the one thing he can do, he can sell you a story.
Oh,
you know how it is. Like, he'll go into them meetings, mark it out, plan how they're going to utilize, how they're going to use it, and he's going to swindle them. He's going to make him feel like they're the greatest man ever come to Arsenal, and he can do that. Yeah. It's just about Arsenal and the board being ambitious enough to make that signing. We've been asking for it. We've been crying for it. Yeah. Obviously, PSR hasn't helped us out as much because we couldn't really offload players. Yeah. But now we can. Mm-hmm. And I feel like with Arsenal, it's do or die. Mm-hmm. Because I honestly think Liverpool should win the league. Yeah. Realistically, they should win the league. But for sure, the door's always open because it's Liverpool. I genuinely believe Arne Slot might have a little blip where, like you said, right now, he's drawn twice. Yeah. There might be an L coming up. Yeah. You know where I'm coming from? So so the door's always open. Mm-hmm. So he has to utilize it. And I feel like he's definitely looked at the squad and went, you know what? Because last season, we was in that same situation where Man City were like 10 points ahead of us. It was a Man City-Liverpool title race last season. Yeah. And then afterwards, he moved Havertz from midfield to striker, and it changed the dynamics and changed everything. Yeah. There is no plan B. And that's one thing I said about Arteta. He doesn't have a plan B when it comes to, you know what, my plan A is not working. Yeah. Do you know where I'm coming from? He's elite at making tactical tweaks during games.
Absolutely.
But before a game,
picture thing.
You play the same way constantly, and you're basically telling the other team, you got to figure us out. And it has happened.
No, for sure. We have seen that Arsenal are willing to spend big on a player.
Yes.
With obviously the signing of Declan Rice.
Correct.
Which obviously publicly I'm not been a fan of. I think in terms of, we speak about misuse of funds, right? We speak about it a lot when it comes to clubs. I think obviously Declan Rice has bought a lot of, like for example, last season was really, really important for us.
Yes, he
was.
Very,
very good for Arsenal, right? We can't deny how good he was for Arsenal, both in terms of crushing the box, defending, covering so much ground. He was very important. I feel at the point that Arsenal are now where they are so strict, especially if you look at this Everton game in isolation. This is not a game where you need Declan Rice to start.
You're right.
When you know you're going to control the whole, basically majority of that game, and if you saw the field tilt charts, it's ridiculous how much control Arsenal had over that. I think 82% possession it was at one point. So you know Arsenal are going to control the game. You don't necessarily need someone that's a combative midfielder in there. You probably the onus is on someone who's better with the ball at their feet, like of Jorginho, maybe a Partey, to do well in that sixth role. But like the point I'm making is that Arsenal do commit funds when it comes to a certain player.
Facts.
Who are you looking at to be that player either in the window or in the summer to be the one that takes Arsenal to the next level? Give me some names.
You know, for me, it's I tweeted out. I genuinely just want left wingers at this moment in time. Okay. So I tweeted out saying I would have either Rafael Leao, Kenan Yildiz from Juventus,
great shout.
Nico Williams, Anthony Gordon, and Jamie Bino Gittins. Those are the really 5 players that I'm like break the bank, because let's be real. 2 years ago, we went in and bid 95 million for Mudryk. So we know
the money's there.
The money's there. You know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And in this situation, you don't want to steer away. You don't want to be away from the title.
Yeah.
We're still there.
Yeah.
I honestly believe, but with this current crop of squad that we have, when you look at it and you look at the bench, for example, there's no enthusiasm. There's nothing that looks at me going, you know what? We've got game change. Oh, this guy looks like it's going to impact. Yeah. Trust has not really been there as much.
He was a bit like last season, but not so much this season.
And I feel like it's not ceiling. We've had not enough of him, but it's more of we've used the best he's had. He's given us 2 good years. Yeah, that's all I needed. It's time for him to move on, in my opinion.
100%.
And then having players, I don't mind having Martinelli come off the bench. Yeah, just a little bright spark, go against tired legs. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, but bringing in a winger is definitely the biggest thing, because I'm not too concerned about my striker in Havertz. I feel like he'll find form as long as he's got the support. Yeah, he doesn't need to drop shot to collect it, because
he's a confidence player as well.
Facts.
The last question before we leave.
Go on.
This is a question I've seen aimed at a lot of Arsenal fans with different answers. If Arne Slot or Enzo Maresca, let's say Pep comes back into the window and wins this league title, what does that mean for Mikel Arteta in your eyes?
My eyes, he's got 1 season in him.
After that?
After that. It's literally, he's on a microscope. Bro, I'm watching him. Every single move he makes, every single tactical tweak he makes, if we lose a game, I wouldn't mind saying, I would say like Arteta out. Like, you know, it'll literally be like, yo, it's the end of the road kind of thing. Still bright young manager that is at the top of his game. Yeah. But sometimes what tends to happen is you reach your limit, bro. You're your ceiling, bro. Yeah. Like we've had we've had top talent come through in the Bukayo Sakas, the William Salibas. It's time for them to look at it going, you know what? He might not be the man that'll take us to that title. So I need this. I said from February 1st, I'm going to judge him hard. Yeah. Because if he doesn't bring in my winger that I need, whether it's them lots, whether it just players that we need to change the game. Razor, I'm sorry, brother. It's time to go. Well, it's time to go by not this season, next season if he doesn't deliver. Because next season he has to deliver.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. But it's not. It wouldn't just be time to go for Arteta. It's also time for us to go.
Oh,
thank you so much for your debut on Absolute.
Appreciate
my
it, man. I appreciate it.
My first feature.
Oh, wow. I'm honored, brother. Thank you.
I'm so happy to see you, brother.
Thank you.
That was our views, our thoughts, quick thoughts on Arsenal and the problems they're going through. Maybe a bit of a longer term outlook on them. You know where to find Star Player on all of his socials. I'll make sure that they're in the description down below as well.
Make sure you guys follow, like, subscribe.
Absolutely.
Abs' channel, whether it's just his TikToks, his YouTube.
Appreciate it, brother, man. I appreciate it. We'll catch you guys next time on ATB. Peace.
Take care.